Hello, everybody. This is Justin Case of Americans Talkin, joining our friend and media personality Jerry Maldonado back for another installment of Meatball Perspectives. Hello, Jerry. Welcome back to Americans Talkin.
He's already laughing. We didn't even start yet.
I haven't even tried to be funny yet.
The journey starts now. The new journey, and I'm grateful to be a part of your new venture with the Americans Talkin. You just got to get a hashtag there, Meatball, so I can plug you on my channel.
Okay.
What the hell?
I'll do that. And
work.
All right, let's do this thing. You seem to be preparing for this, and you seem to be ready. So what in the world are we Americans talking about?
A lot of us, actually, that's a great point. I love your triggers. It's not what we're talking about. You and I to have a direct emphasis on, goals and dreams, focus and that. What we forget about in the process is what they call emotional prepping. I had mentioned prepping in the very beginning. You kind of probably shook your head on the other end of the side there, Meatball. But emotional prepping, and if you do a Google on it, it's pretty funny because it goes wholeheartedly with how the world mentality is today. It's basically the process of preparing oneself to manage and cope. And survival kits, World War III. I'm talking about the actual destination of your goal. You're living in the end. You're emotionally prepping for it daily, which I do with my goals every day. I'm doing the research on the end result. I'm getting myself ready for the outcome of the goal. And what does that do? Not only does it edify you and everything, but it emotionally keeps you in the state of already having it. This is where the law of attraction really kicks in with a lot of people when they have to realize, yeah, you might want something, but are you ready for that something? What say you?
Well, that's an interesting premise, Jerry. It's my thought is, we need to put that in our kit. We need that
Yes.
to get it if we have any chance of getting where we want to go.
Yes, I call it the mental toolbox. It's a great point. A lot of us forget about that. Look at a lot of the lottery winners. I mean, they wanted all this money. They thought about it all day long. That's how it basically happened. There's no coincidences, only confirmations in your life. And if people can remember that part, they'll get rid of that old superstition or luck or anything else and realize what is happening is what they're bringing. So if you want a lot of money, you need to edify yourself on the tax ratio, what's going to happen with it. It's just getting you ready for the outcome that's inevitably, if you really want it and you really decide you want it, it's going to happen. And it should make a lot of sense to people because we want these desires and we're imagining all these things in our life that we want. But if we're not emotionally ready for that, we're basically going to attain it, but in essence self-sabotage it by our old values and beliefs. And a perfect example is I'm the greatest, which I am. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, of course you are.
Who noted and denoted those famous words even before he was the greatest? And it wasn't Muhammad Ali, Meatball. It was Cassius Clay before he became Muhammad Ali. I know you knew that. I was just kidding, by the way. But he basically set his outcome before the outcome. And I used that in last night's show with America's Mentor. That same kind of philosophy in life. And it really had put me in a lot of areas because I kept recreating the old end. I said, wait, I got to change the narrative of who I am and create the new end I want to begin in. And if people can realize that, it's not just the goal, it's the whole facet of it. You got to become involved with it. It's not just the thought, it's the feeling behind it, how you feel when you're going to have it, what you need to do when you attain it. It may sound complex, but it's just us doing what we already do. Our normal planning, our daily planning. Why not have a future, a destiny planning in your lifestyle along with that little notepad every day that you jot down the million things that you have to do? Why not have a goal outcome as well and start living in that?
Well, absolutely. And Ali may have been the greatest in history in doing that. He talked it into reality. You know, he
Oh
he
God, yeah.
he was talking about it when nobody even took a moment to believe him. But as I matured when he was doing that, because I was a child, I believed it because I saw it for myself.
Yes. And he
And
wasn't even the best built boxer. You notice that? He wasn't the bulked up, muscle head. he just didn't. He was obviously very strong. Obviously, he didn't have the formality of him. It was all emotional. It was all mental. And what he did, he would psych out his boxers even before they boxed them. I mean, they made he knew psychology 101 to a T, and he practiced it on himself. He used what you do every day, your mirror technique. He did it in his training. It was a nonstop process of him mastering his thought process to be the greatest before he was the greatest. All I tell people is you do that same thing with your goals. You master the outcome. You want a new house? Okay, fine. Where do I want to live? How do I want to do it? Every facet of it. Create a description of this is what I do every day with my journaling or scripting, if you want to call that. I create a story before the story is even printed. And
right,
it has created for me the most amazing life in every facet, but it took understanding that. That's why it took so long. That's why people get so frustrated because they realize, why am I not creating this? Because you're not fully involved with it.
right, right, right. Just and I hate to revert back to Ali because that's an easy reach. He
Yes.
he was true to his belief system throughout his life.
Mm-hmm. Oh
You know,
yeah. I mean,
he
go
was
ahead.
he was willing to go to prison over his beliefs. And
He didn't care. He
right,
didn't care. I love that. I love that mentality. Go ahead.
no, but that was it, and that's something that he was despised for in that time by some, but I think respected tremendously because of his courage in the moment, in
Yeah.
every moment.
Now, wasn't that because of service? Correct.
Yeah,
He wouldn't go into service. Now I'm trying to think here for
yeah,
his history.
he refused to go to Vietnam to kill Vietnamese people because they had never done anything to him.
Yes, indeed, and that's when he converted. I presume.
He,
That's fine. Nowadays, I mean, that would be hailed as as courageous. But back then, I mean, any kind of if you go against the system, which is exactly what he did, that's why he became the greatest. He went against the basic system. He didn't conform to the world, but he was transformed by the renewing of his mind. He basically used whatever scripture in his own mind to understand that his beliefs, morally correct, were going to create a better outcome for him. And people got to have that same kind of foundation. A tree doesn't grow on one root, it spans out. You ask yourself, what kind of foundation are you living by every day? What kind of morals and values and beliefs about your goals and your destiny that you want to create? You'll soon find out how deeply encumbered you are with it. And Ali was a great example. He was a great example of not in essence the boxing part, but his morals, his values, his fortitude, his perseverance, and most importantly, his goals about himself, what he wanted to become.
no, absolutely, and that I believe that's why he became one of the most beloved people in the history of the world by
Oh, indeed.
people all over the world.
Yes, yes, and it wasn't just that he was doing something. He was just a whole person. He had a good energy coming off him from day one. It was just a persistence of what he wanted to become, get out of his way, and that's it. As he got older in life, people started to understand his philosophy and how it worked to create his destiny, and people started following that as well. And as long as, yeah, along with his daughter, who did very well, um, from understanding what her father did and his belief systems and so on and so forth. Going back to what I said about goals, when you give 100%, you're going to get 100%. Ask yourself. A lot of people don't do that. They think about it, yeah, they feel a little bit here and there. But to me, when I immerse myself in my goals every day, and 100%, just like you do with your channels and your media, we're creating a destiny in advance of the destiny. And when
Right.
people realize that, they'll realize how quickly it's going to come and or not come into the reality.
No, absolutely, Jerry, and that's a form of you and I making an investment in ourselves.
God, yeah.
And
Yeah, I spent half the day today redoing the set, even though it looks the same. It's just I'm constantly evolving. Go ahead, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
no, no, I'm laughing. I'm sorry. Half a day. Now, Jerry, you must be exaggerating.
I must what?
You must be exaggerating.
No, no,
No,
never, never.
never,
I'm
never.
always changing. I'm always evolving, man. I'm always changing stuff around. But I wish people can grasp it for themselves. I hate to see people get frustrated because their goals aren't happening. They sound powerful. They're all into it. They're all doing what they got to do in life, but it's not happening. And check the roots, man. Check the foundation. Check of who you are as a person, what kind of energy you're emitting every day about your goal. You develop an Ali belief system of get out of my way, it's going to happen without hurting anybody, obviously. I mean, it's going to happen. You're not denied nothing. That you don't first deny yourself, but you have to realize what you're going after. You have to edify yourself in every aspect of it. And this is what shoots people down. They only put a toe in the pool. You got to jump in the pool, edify yourself in every facet of what you're trying to attain, learn about it, and you get better pictures in your imagination to visualize it even more because you're feeling better about attaining it.
Well, I agree, Jerry. And you and I are always talking about staying in the moment. And Ali took that to a much higher level, to a much higher power. He was always courageous in the moment, no matter what that moment was, and I believe that's what drove him.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was from a very early age. But remember, the present moment creates the next present moment, the next
Right.
present moment, the next present moment. I mean, all you're doing is like a Xerox copy machine. Well, which is great because if you have a great moment, you're in that present moment. That's going to re-manifest into the next, to the next, the next. That's why time is just an illusion. And
No,
people will understand that. They'll realize what they're manifesting in life because the present moment is just creating the next one. So how do you feel about your present moment? What are you mastering in your thoughts every day? What are your goals and how are you edifying yourself to attain them? I went after so many goals blindly. I went bankrupt a couple times. I mean, because yeah, I was aggressive and I wanted all these things, but I never taught myself about the outcome or any of this. I mean, I submitted my first business plan in pencil, and the bank laughed at me. I wonder why all the banks laughed at me. I didn't understand it. I didn't edify myself about it. Was it embarrassing? No, I just kind of laughed at myself, and I just got a better pencil. I was persistent. Until
right.
finally a bank understood what I was trying to talk about. But that's what people have to learn, and they'll quit after the first or second try. If it feels right, it's going to happen. If it doesn't feel right, it's not going to happen. Just follow that mantra in your life, and you'll realize that you're on the right path or the wrong path just by how you feel.
An objective observer of your life, Jerry, you always kept going. You know,
Oh yeah.
and that's a remarkable trait. Well,
But
no,
I'm not
no, it
laughing.
is. No, I
I'm
know,
not
but it's
laughing at you. I just got so used to failure. I said, there's got to be something right with this failure. And like I said, I say many times that there's a blessing in the lesson. You know what I mean? You got, if you learn from it. I can't even count how many times that somebody would have embarrassed themselves. That was me. I should have a trophy for it. But it was a great learning process. I mean, learning all these different facets about life. But yeah, I took the school of hard knocks approach instead of what I'm preaching now for people to avoid that by edifying yourself in the goal, whatever it is. I mean, understand it 1,000% before you try going after it. You may have it in here, but is the root system buried deep enough to keep you on the foundation to keep pushing forward? That's what I had. I had deep roots in it, and I had to understand it better, and therefore it was easier to attain.
well, and I think all of us are living in the school of hard knocks world, whether we're bright enough to realize it or not. Because
Yeah.
some of these old cliches, the worm will turn, the worm can turn. It's a reality of life.
Yeah, I mean, now my question to you is, I don't really see that a lot anymore. I don't really see people pushing hard. I see more of the giving up per se. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not saying it in any kind of detrimental way to people who are trying, but all you see is the process online, like I was saying, of getting oneself managed to cope, that emotional prepping. What you see online is all about World War III and food rations and floods, and nothing about emotionally setting yourself up to succeed. You don't really see that. And people, when they're doing their research on this stuff, they might come into that doomsday mentality. That's where the hill starts collapsing, and people got to be careful about that. This is where the perseverance kicks in and says, wait, I can do this. And this is your mirror technique. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. And you keep edifying yourself on that mentality. It can only become stronger in your life.
No, absolutely. And I want everybody to believe that if they're using the mirror technique, and if they're not quite there, make their mantra, I will be. I'll be the greatest me I can be.
I mean, so many presidents, so many deceased, philosophers, I mean, sages, they all use the mirror as a reflection of who they are. And they kept in that moment. Even when the mirror wasn't there, they saw themselves in the mirror. It's a powerful way for people to really give themselves the confidence and courage, knowing what they want, to keep moving forward and watch the results, because not because you're trying necessarily, but the energy you're emitting. That's what I didn't understand. I was going after everything with this negative mindset. Oh, maybe it'll happen, even though I had this picture in this feeling in my heart that I wanted something, but I never really believed in it. You and I talked about this a couple times in the past couple of weeks about belief in oneself. You work on that kind of mentality, you get a better belief system about yourself. You're going to see a different outcome because you're emitting a different energy.
Right, and be careful of the pratfall. If I only, that excuse sets people back until they can rid themselves of it. If I was only 20 pounds lighter, if I was only 4 inches taller, if I was only 4 inches shorter.
Negative self-talk, I get it. And the old self-criticism, self-deprecation, I think they call it in psychology terms. I forgot what the hell it meant. I don't know. Anything negative about you is going to create more negative about you. I'm not saying walk around, people, get rid. The hardest thing for me was to get rid of the chip on my shoulder that was installed by beliefs and isms and habits and everything else in my life. Granted, it's a daily process, and we all have to work on our own little chips on our shoulder, man. They're very deep in our foundation of thought. And when you can get past that part of your life and just go for what you want, whether it's love, success, money, wholeheartedly, is when it comes to you wholeheartedly.
No, absolutely. And some, are just looking for that next guinea pig. But that's another story. That's another topic.
I had to say goodbye to them when I stepped into the studio here. Aww. They were crying. They were very upset. Most docile little stinky creatures in the world. I love them. But it's okay. They gotta. Here's an idea. Develop a pig pamper. Seriously, a guinea pig pamper. That would save me so many hours, man. I wouldn't have to worry about cleaning up after these little guys, but they are adorable.
Well, I would suggest duct tape.
Duct tape.
Oh, little pig. Little piggies. I didn't mean it. That was just a joke.
Yeah. We don't want it coming out of their mouth, man. That would be pretty raw and nasty. But that'd be great. That'd be great. But Victoria enjoys them. I enjoy them. They're cute little guys. Honestly, I want my dogs back. I miss my little buddies, my little ankle biters. I get to walk around the neighborhood. But hopefully that people can grasp that if you want something, edify yourself, educate yourself in having it, already having it. That's the key. People got to realize living in the end is just possessing it, and possessing it with your whole heart and soul, 100%, knowing that it is here. When you start doing that, the Muhammad Ali effect kicks in. You start getting the chances and the opportunities because the energy you're emitting is that person already successful before you are successful.
No, absolutely, Jerry. And if you see yourself in that light, you'll start to radiate that, and other people will start to buy in.
It's like you with Moses on the hill, man. Get your staff and part the seas, because that's how life works. It literally will work that way for you. I've seen it in my own life. I love the results. You keep practicing on the results. That's the whole key. Keep practicing on the outcome and living in the outcome. You are going to create that outcome. You're already doing it now. You're predicting that, you're going to be broke by the end of the year. There you go. You're predicting that it's going to cost so much for food. There you go. Everything is manifesting according to your belief system. Whatever you're saying to yourself, about yourself, feeling about yourself, you're bringing to yourself. You keep practicing that, yeah, of course. I mean, you're going to have this big downfall and a doomsday mentality in life. But it's when you find that what you truly desire, and you start living from the end, and that's what you bring as well.
No, absolutely. And those challenges and landmines in the future, you'll be in a better position to deal with them. And it's part of the journey. It's part of building your resistance to failure and not recognizing failure.
And it won't hurt as much.
Right.
Because you'll understand it more. I mean, to me, like a setback is just a speed bump. Before it was a gravel pit. I fall into it.
Quicksand.
This is what people realize. It's not about getting used to it. It's just understanding it.
Right.
Like fighter never likes to get punched in the head. That's why he's got to arm himself. I mean, that hurts like hell. I mean, but he learns to avoid it by doing different things. If it isn't going, if your life didn't turn out the way you thought it would be, it's because of the way you thought it would be. You follow that kind of mindset, the world is your oyster, man.
No, absolutely, Jerry. And I want you to know, before we get out of here, if I win the lottery, I'm giving it to you. Because
Please.
I don't play the lottery. But I may wake up one day and do it.
I ain't getting shit. All right, well, no, that's good. I mean, if you have this mentality, like 99.9% of the people out there, that they're going to win, that's great. So live in the end and give me your money, Meatball. I'll take it.
I will. So that should encourage you to buy the next lottery ticket and send it to me.
Well, I will not do that, but I'll think about it. I'll keep it for my own little. Yeah, I'll give you a percentage because you've been a nice guy for the last decade to me.
No percentage. I don't want any of it. It'll be lottery money is
a finder's fee.
No, lottery money is tainted money. I believe that's my belief system.
Like I said, it's your belief, and absolutely everybody out there has their own belief system as well. So whatever you believe in, you bring in. So if that's what you think about, that's what you're going to bring about. It's really simple.
All right, Jerry. Hey, good episode, good topic. This has been Justin Case and Jerry Maldonado bringing you Meatball Perspectives. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information and links provided in this video is read more. Today's the day to subscribe to this channel. Please learn more about Jerry Maldonado and Americans Talkin when time permits.